So you've probably heard the talk, right? The narrative about the younger generation. And it almost always kicks off with a few, let's call them choice words.
You hear things like quiet quitters.
Or snowflakes.
In my personal favorite, the generation that refuses to grind.
But what if, and just hear me out, what if this whole story is actually one of the biggest gaslighting campaigns in modern history?
Let's really dig into this. We're going to start by tearing down this myth. And to do that, we have to look at the promises that were made, and then compare them to the reality that was actually delivered.
Think about it. Back in, say, 1970, the promise was pretty straightforward. A single income, just one person's full-time job, could support a whole family, a house, even a car. Now, fast forward to today. Well, we're working about 20% more hours on average, but the cost of everything has just skyrocketed. We're talking over 300%. The math, it just doesn't add up anymore. So you see, this isn't about being lazy. Not at all. It's about a deep, deep disillusionment with a system that, frankly, feels rigged from the get-go.
And look, you don't have to just take my word for it. Let's look at the numbers, because they tell a story that is crystal clear.
Okay, so between 1979 and 2020, worker productivity, how much stuff we're actually getting done, it shot up by a staggering 61.8%. That's huge. But, and this is the big but, how much did paychecks go up in that same exact period when you account for inflation? Just 17.5%. It's like all the rewards for that extra hard work, they just vanished into thin air. I mean, just look at that gap. We're creating more value than ever before, but we are absolutely not seeing it reflected in our bank accounts. This isn't just a feeling, you know? This is a cold, hard, 4-decade-long economic reality. And all of this leads to what you could call the broken contract. You know, the old deal? The unspoken social agreement was simple. You give a company your loyalty, your best years, and in return, they give you stability and a clear path to move up. Well, that deal, it's pretty much off the table now. And just to make things even more complicated, the whole nature of work itself has fundamentally changed, and you can thank that little device that's probably in your pocket right now. The workday used to have a clear beginning and a clear end. You'd clock in, you'd clock out, you left the office, and you were done. But now, the office is always with you. It's the first thing you check when you wake up and the very last thing you look at before you go to sleep. And the result of this always-on culture? It's not a mystery. It's a well-documented mental health crisis. But here's the crazy part. Instead of actually addressing the root cause, it gets rebranded. It gets mislabeled as some kind of personal failing, a poor work ethic. And that's exactly why setting boundaries, simple things like not answering emails at 10 p.m., that's not a sign of low ambition. It's a modern-day survival mechanism. It's absolutely critical in a world that will drain every single ounce of your energy if you let it. So, faced with this new reality, what is this generation actually doing? Well, they're not just throwing in the towel. No way. They're doing something much more radical. They're changing the entire definition of what success even means. And here's the real twist in the story. This generation, they are incredibly hardworking. The catch is, they're just not doing it for a traditional corporation. They are literally building their own paths from the ground up. This is the generation of the side hustle, the content creator, the solopreneur who's building an empire from a laptop. They're pouring all that ambition into projects that actually give them a sense of purpose and a sense of control. And what this all points to is a massive fundamental shift in values. The ultimate prize isn't just a bigger salary or a fancier title anymore. The new currency is something called time wealth. It's the freedom, the flexibility to actually be in control of your own schedule, of your own life.
I think this quote just nails the mindset perfectly. If the corporate ladder is leaning against a crumbling wall, we're better off building our own. And when you think about it, that's not lazy. That's a completely rational response to a system that feels unstable.
Which brings us right back to where we started. That lazy label, it isn't an accurate description. It's a convenient tool. It's a way to shut down valid criticism of how the modern workplace is set up and to pressure people into just accepting a system that is, for many, fundamentally broken. So, I'll leave you with this one question to really think about. That feeling of exhaustion you might have, is it actually burnout? Or are you just done playing a game that no longer seems fair? Let us know what you think.